Well, good morning. It is wonderful to see all of you here. So, guys, it's middle of July already. It's hard to believe. I did hear, I guess CBLI is this week, so keep the folks that are heading to CBLI. I know Dana, Lee, and Marcarius are out there in Wisconsin, so keep them in your thoughts and prayers as they have a good time and some good fellowship, but also a good opportunity to grow in their walk. So keep them in your thoughts and prayers this week, and all the folks are out there, not just our core members, of course, everybody that's out there. Otherwise, it's pretty quiet around the core this week, so no children until the fall, no Bible study yet, and no women's ministries for a few more weeks, so probably not that long, right? September's not that far. A couple things coming up. So August 10th, a day camp Sunday, and then core council on the 24th, so keep those in your little bit longer range planning. For our first-time visitors, please take a moment to sign a pew card. And honestly, that's about all the announcements I have this morning. I didn't write it down. I did see a poster up for women's camp on the bulletin board, so I didn't write down any of the details. So do you want me to? Scan it and sign up. You don't even sign up with me. Okay, so use your phone and scan to sign up. And if you're technology challenged, find a youngster and they'll help you out. So with that, our call to worship this morning is in your bulletin as well as up on the screen. And this is from Psalm 138, if you'd like to follow along. Thank you. Everything in me says thank you. Angels, listen as I sing my thanks. I kneel in worship facing your holy temple and say it again, thank you. Thank you for your love. Thank you for your faithfulness. Most holy is your name. Most holy is your word. The moment I called out, you stepped in. You made my life large with strength. When they hear what you have to say, God, all earth's kings will say thank you. They'll sing of what you've done, how great the glory of God. And with that, I'll turn to Major Shonda for praise and worship.
There was discussion about where I found that, because it's not, if you have an NIV or an NLT even, you won't find it written like that. That is from the Message. But I felt that it just sounded good this morning, because we are thankful. We are his thankful servants, thankful for everything that he has done for us. And even on the gloomy days like today, we still need to sing thanks to our God in heaven. I'm going to invite you to stand with me this morning as we start our time of praise and worship with I Love to Tell the Story, and then continuing with Reckless Love. I love to tell the story of unseen things above, of Jesus and his glory, of Jesus and his love. I love to tell the story something old and something new, reckless love.
Before I spoke a word, you were singing over me. You have been so, so good to me. Before I took a breath, you breathed your life in me. You have been so, so kind to me. Oh, the overwhelming, never-ending, reckless love of God. Oh, it chases me down, fights till I'm found, leaves the 99. I couldn't earn it, and I don't deserve it. Still, you give yourself away. Oh, the overwhelming, never-ending, reckless love of God. Yeah. When I was your foe, still your love fought for me. You have been so, so good to me. When I felt no worth, you paid it all for me. You have been so, so kind to me. And all the overwhelming, never-ending, reckless love of God. Oh, it chases me down, fights till I'm found, leaves the 99. And I couldn't earn it, and I don't deserve it. Still, you give yourself away. Oh, the overwhelming, never-ending, reckless love of God. There's no shadow you won't light up, mountain you won't climb up, coming after me. There's no wall you won't kick down, lie you won't tear down, coming after me. There's no shadow you won't light up, mountain you won't climb up, coming after me. There's no wall you won't kick down, lie you won't tear down, coming after me. There's no shadow you won't light up, mountain you won't climb up, coming after me. There's no wall you won't kick down, lie you won't tear down, coming after me. There's no shadow you won't light up, mountain you won't climb up, coming after me.
Gracious God, we just thank you, Lord, that you do leave the 99 to seek out that one, Lord, because we were that one at one time. So, Lord, we thank you and we give praise and glory and honor to you, Lord, for your love that you give so freely. Be with us today. Be with us in this meeting, Lord. Have your way. May everything that is done and said bring glory and honor to you and to you alone, Lord. In your precious Son's name I pray. Amen. You may be seated.
All right, good morning. All right, John chapter 4, starting in verse 3. Give me a second to get there. John 4, talking about Jesus, verse 3. So he left Judea and went back once more to Galilee. Now he had to go through Samaria, so he came to a town in Samaria called Sychar, near the plot of ground Jacob had given to his son Joseph. Joseph's well was there, and Jesus, tired as he was from the journey, sat down by the well. It was about noon. When a Samaritan woman came to draw water, Jesus said to her, "Will you give me a drink?" His disciples had gone into the town to buy food. The Samaritan woman said to him, "You are a Jew, and I am a Samaritan woman. How can you ask me for a drink?" For Jews do not associate with Samaritans. Jesus answered her, "If you knew the gift of God and who it is that asks you for a drink, you would have asked him, and he would have given you living water." "Sir," the woman said, "you have nothing to draw with, and the well is deep. Where do you get this living water? Are you greater than our father Jacob, who gave us this well and drank from it himself, as did also his sons and his livestock?" Jesus answered, "Everyone who drinks this water will be thirsty again, but whoever drinks the water I give them will never thirst. Indeed, the water I give them will become in them a spring of water welling up to eternal life." The woman said to him, "Sir, give me this water so that I won't get thirsty and have to keep coming here to draw water."
Good morning. We have our ushers come forward. Ed, would you mind praying for the offering?
Gracious Father God, we come before you right now just to give back you a portion of what you've given. Father God, may you bless it and may it multiply. In the name of Christ, amen.
Amen. Shall we stand for the doxology? Thank you. May be seated.
As we come before the Lord this morning in prayer, you did have your prayer insert this morning with a lengthy list, but there are even more to pray for. This morning in Sunday school class, you'll want to remember Brett this Thursday, and he will be having an outpatient procedure. So please remember him on Thursday. Some of you may know Cindy, who has been coming for about a year now, just a tiny little lady. She has some family issues and is moving to Bay City to be with her other daughter that lives there. So keep Cindy in your prayers as well. We do want to remember CBLI, as Dave mentioned this morning. If you don't know what that is, it's Central Bible Leaders Institute. That's what CBLI stands for. So it is a Bible camp. So as you pray, we want to remember Lee and Dana and Envoy Marcarius, but also the others that are there, that they become closer to God. Closer and studying their Bible more and really digging deep into the meat of that. So remember all the individuals coming from across the territory, not just here in Michigan, but it's North Dakota, South Dakota, Iowa, Illinois, Missouri, Indiana, Wisconsin, Minnesota. So please remember them in your prayers. For the traveling mercies as well. For some, it's a very long drive, and if you drive, sometimes you get sleepy. So pray for the drivers and just for the crazies that are on the road. Also, Miss Ellie has a neighbor, Joe. If you could just remember him and some medical needs that he's having as well. And those are the prayer requests, but we had a praise as well from Miss Beverly. She traveled for the first time by herself flying. Now, flying and getting and navigating an airport and struggling to get to your gate and go through all the pat downs, it's very stressful. I know this firsthand, and so we praise the Lord for bringing Beverly back to us and that she is now a seasoned solo traveler. And I want to say the Minneapolis airport is not tiny, so it is quite large to get through. So we just thank the Lord. So let's go to the Lord in prayer this morning. Gracious Heavenly Father, we just bow before your feet humbly, Lord. We are in awe that you would allow us to come into your presence, Lord. We do not deserve it. As the song we sang a few moments ago, Lord, we do not deserve your love, Lord, but you give it to us anyway. Lord, help us to listen for your voice. And Lord, when we do hear your voice, help us to not just hear it and shrug it off, Lord, but to really listen to it and listen and heed what you say. Lord, I don't know how to express how lucky we are, Lord, to be able to come before you, Lord, that we live here in a land that we are free to worship whomever and whatever we choose. Lord, help us as Christians to seek out those, Lord, that are choosing to worship the whatever and not you. Help us to witness to them. Lord, we've been learning from your servant, Willie, how to present the gospel, how to be a gospeler, Lord. Lord, let us not just leave it in our Sunday school classroom, Lord, but help us to take it out to those that are around us, Lord, those that are in our workplace, Lord, those that are in our friends' circle, Lord, those that are in our family circle. Lord, your time of coming back is soon. We feel it, we see it. So, Lord, help us to make that an important thing in our life, Lord, that we would witness to those around us, that we would not keep silent, that we would not hide our light under a bushel, but we would let it shine, not only in our words, Lord, but by our actions as well. Because many people may not listen to the words that come from our mouth, Lord, but everyone sees our actions. So, Lord, let them reflect you. Lord, help us to be your hands, your feet, and your voice to everyone around us. Lord, be with us in this meeting, Lord. Be with your speaker, Lord. We ask that you hide him behind your cross, Lord. And the words that he will bring forth, Lord, let it be your voice that we hear speaking to us, Lord, through him. We love you, Lord, and we are just so thankful that you love us and are gracious to us in return. In your precious Son's name we pray. Amen. We are going to sing one more song before Mr. Gus comes and brings the word. We are going to sing The Love of God. It may be new-ish. It's newer to me. I had to watch a video a couple times. But I invite you to stand with me, or if you are willing and able, to sing The Love of God.
Greater far than tongue or pen can ever tell. It goes beyond the highest star and reaches to the lowest hell. The guilty pair bow down with care. God gave his Son to win his erring child. He reconciled and pardoned from his sin. When years of time shall pass away, and earthly thrones and kingdoms fall, when men who hear refuse to pray on rocks and hills and mountains call, God's love so sure shall still endure, all measureless and strong, redeeming grace to Adam's race, the saints and angels song. Could we within the ocean fill, and were the skies a parchment made, were every star on earth a quill, and every man a scribe by trade, to write the love
Good morning. I thought it was supposed to be sunny today. My wife told me it was supposed to be sunny. In fact, the news told us it was supposed to be sunny this morning. It rained all the way in. Will you pray with me this morning? Father, thank you for this time that we can be together in your house, Lord. Lord, we thank you for all that you do for us and how much you love us. Lord, we pray that you will come down this morning and you will lead this message. Lord, speak to your people, your congregation. We pray that you will open our hearts and insert your words in there, and that we will walk out of this place different, changed, because of your love. We ask these things in Jesus' name. Amen. Well, I'd like to start out with a little story, if you don't mind. Once upon a time, on a dangerous seacoast where shipwrecks occurred, there was a crude little life-saving station. The building was just a hut. There was only one boat and a few devoted members which kept watch over the sea. With no thought for themselves, they went out day and night searching for the lost. Many who were saved and others from the surrounding area wanted to become associated with the station, so they gave their time and their money to support the work. New boats were bought and new crews were trained, and the little life station grew. As time went on, some of the members were unhappy with the building of it being so crude and poorly equipped. They thought a more comfortable place could be provided as a first refuge for those saved from the sea. They replaced the emergency cots and beds and put better furniture in a larger building. Now the life-saving station became a popular gathering spot, and they decorated it beautifully. In fact, they used it sort of like a club. Fewer members were now interested in going out to sea on life-saving missions, so they hired a lifeboat crew to do the work. Oh, the life-saving motif still prevailed the club's decorations. There was even a lifeboat in the room where the club's initiations were held. Now it was about this time that a large ship was wrecked off the coast, and the hired crew brought in boatloads of cold, wet, and half-drowned people. They were dirty and sick, and some of them were even of different color. The beautiful new club was in chaos. So the property committee immediately had a shower house built outside the club where the victims could be cleaned up before they could come inside. At the next meeting, there was a split in the club membership. Most members wanted to stop the club's life-saving activities as being unpleasant and a hindrance to the normal social life of the club. Some members insisted that life-saving was their primary purpose and pointed out that they were still called a life-saving station. But they were finally voted down and told that if they wanted to save lives of all various kinds of people who were shipwrecked in those waters, they could begin their own life-saving station up the coast. So they did. As the years went by, the new station experienced the same changes that occurred in the old. It evolved into a club, and yet another life-saving station was founded. History continued to repeat itself, and if you visit that seacoast area today, you will find a number of exclusive clubs along that shore. Shipwrecks are frequent in those waters, but most of the people drowned. Somebody once said that a church that does not evangelize will eventually fossilize. As Major made reference to our Sunday school class, we've been talking about sharing our faith. A couple of weeks back, I had the privilege of leading that class. And I will tell you, it did not take me long to figure out how much I lacked in doing the things I need to do personally to be the person that God called me to be. And that's what drove this sermon this morning. And I know it can be scary to share your faith. You never know what people are going to think or how they're going to react. But fortunately for us, we have in Scripture a role model of how to do it. In John chapter 4, Jesus speaks to a woman in Samaria. It's a very famous story. We've all heard it. We know from the story that she wasn't into hearing what Jesus had to say. She certainly didn't grow up in a Christian household. She's skeptical, jaded. She's been let down by society, especially men. And she was cast out of the community. But Jesus has a conversation. And that conversation leads to a conversion. And when you follow the whole storyline throughout that book, after believing that Jesus Christ is the promised Messiah, she goes back to town and tells everybody. And Scripture says many of the people in that city also believed. Well, out of this story, we're going to see three things that we need to be able to share our faith. We need the right attitude, we need the right approach, and we need the right appeal. And our Lord shows us all three of those in this story. The first, and it's probably the most important, is our attitude. Your attitude will show how much you care. And you know, people can tell how much you care, but they can also tell how much you don't care. Even a dog can tell how much you care. A few years back, Wendy and I went down to Ohio to Equine Affair. It's a big horse thing down in Dayton, Ohio. And we went to a horse training lesson to learn about taking care of horses. And the person that gave that lesson said this: a horse doesn't care how much you know until he knows how much you care. People are the same way. You can tell if someone is blowing smoke, can't you? You know right away. Jesus in these verses shows us how much he cares. It starts in verse 3. It says, "So he left Judea and went back once more to Galilee." This next verse is it. Now he had to go through Samaria. That's an odd place for that verse. When you read it, it's odd. It doesn't make sense. Some translations say he needed to go through Samaria. And it's odd because the Jews felt nobody really needed to go through Samaria. They avoided Samaria like the plague. They even went out of their way not to go through Samaria. In fact, there's a famous Jewish prayer from 2,000 years ago that says, "Lord, please do not remember the Samaritans in the resurrection." They really did not like this group of people. But here Jesus says he had to go. Why? Why would he say that? Because our Lord knew that there was a woman there that was hurting. And this is a statement of his love, of his concern for his people. Jesus' attitude was that everyone, regardless of background or race or history, deserves and needs to feel the love of God. We just sang a song that said he leaves the 99 to find the one. That's the attitude that we have to have. The truth is, if you don't care, you will not share. Sharing begins with caring that they're lost. So we need to do a little inventory in our own heart. We need to ask ourselves if there are a group of people or a racial group that we have a problem with or we have a prejudice against. And if you're quick to say, oh, no, not me, I would suggest that you ask somebody that's really close to you. Just ask them, hey, is there some group of people that you see that I have a prejudice against, or I feel bad, or I argue about, or I fight for, or I fight against? And if so, you need to ask God to have an attitude of transforming love. You need to ask God for that change. And I know that sometimes there are some people that are hard to be around. I know from personal experience that there are some people that you don't like their viewpoint. You don't like what they say sometimes. You don't always like how they talk. But we have to see them in their true condition. They're lost. Just like these people were lost at sea, we have to see those people as being lost. We are their life-saving station. And that cross is their lifeboat. So we have to have a Christ-like attitude, an attitude of concern, an attitude of care, and an attitude of love. That is number one, first and foremost, the most important thing is to have the right attitude. The second thing is our approach. Verse 5 says, so he came to the town in Samaria called Sychar, near a plot of ground Jacob had given to his son Joseph. Jacob's well was there, and Jesus, tired as he was from his journey, sat down by the well. It was about noon. When a Samaritan woman came to draw water, Jesus said to her, will you give me a drink? His disciples had gone away into town to buy food. The Samaritan woman said to him, you are a Jew, and I am a Samaritan woman. How can you ask me for a drink? For the Jews have no association with the Samaritans. So as soon as they see each other, Jesus enters into a conversation with her just by asking her for a drink. Just everyday chit-chat. But he's waiting for an opportunity. So he says, give me a drink. But she's kind of astonished at that. She says, why would you do that? Why would you ask that of me? See, it wasn't customary for the Jews to hang out with the Samaritans. But Jewish men did not speak to women in public. And I know that sounds really weird to us, but devout Jewish and especially rabbis would not speak to a woman in public. Not even their wife, not even their adult daughter. In fact, there was a group of Pharisees back in the day that were called the bruised and bloody Pharisees. Because whenever they would approach a woman on the street, they would close their eyes so as to not have impure thoughts or not speak to them and not see them. Well, when you're walking down the street and you close your eyes, you run into things. Thus the name, bruised and bloody Pharisees. So for him to ask her for a drink, she's a little puzzled. But the text gives us a little bit of a hint about something. It says in verse 6, it was about noon, which was not normal. The normal time for women to go to the well back in those days was either early in the morning or later in the evening. Nobody goes to the well at noon in Jerusalem. It's the hottest part of the day. But she didn't want, nor was she allowed to be with the other women. Remember, I said she was an outcast. Because when the women would meet at the well, they would typically gossip or tell stories. They'd get the news. The well was the water cooler of the day. And as you read the story, you find out that she has had 5 different husbands and is living with somebody who is not her husband at that moment. And it's a small town. And if you've ever lived in a small town, everybody knows. So she was the gossip. She just wants to be alone. She doesn't want to be bothered with them. And that's perfect for Jesus because he wants her to be alone. Because he wants to have this conversation with her. Jesus didn't care what the world thought of her. All Jesus cared is what God thought of her. So this is a great approach. Just have a normal conversation with somebody. You don't have to come in hot and on fire. Just normal chit-chat. And look for opportunities. Look for little words. Listen to their conversation. You just need to show them that you care. And you need to show them God cares. So the first thing we need is the right attitude. The second thing we need is the right approach. The third thing we need is the right appeal. What would make an unbeliever move from being an unbeliever to even considering a life in Christ? There's got to be some kind of an appeal, something that piques their curiosity. Now, here's a news flash. Lost people don't know they're lost. You can go up to somebody and ask them, "Are you saved?" And their response is going to be, "Saved from what? I'm fine. Life is good." They don't understand their lostness until they're found. And when they're found, they're going to look back on their life and they're going to go, "Man, was I lost? I really needed this." But they don't understand that. It's kind of like my son Lauren. When my son Lauren was growing up, we could never get him to try steak. We would grill steak out in the backyard. Lauren always wanted a corn dog, which was fine for me because I saved money and didn't have to buy him a steak. And then one year he went camping with our neighbors. And he comes home to me, and I'll never forget it. He comes in and he says, "Guess what? I tried steak up north and I love it." It changed his whole eating habits. From that point on, he wanted steak. People don't understand how good it is to have freedom from sin until they taste salvation. And then they understand it. So you need to have an appeal, something that appeals to their curiosity. I want you to watch what Jesus does. Verse 10, Jesus answers her, "If you knew the gift of God and who it is that asks you for a drink, you would have asked him, and he would give you living water." This is what salespeople refer to as a hook. Saying something that stimulates curiosity and gets them to want more. We've seen it happen here time and time again. How many times during the day does somebody ask you how you're doing and you just say, "I'm well, I'm fine"? But the next time somebody asks you that, answer with a spiritually focused answer. Someone will say, "How you doing?" You say, "Man, God's been good to me." Or, "I'm blessed." Or Lee used to say, "Better than I deserve." Major Andrew, living the life, living the dream. These are all hooks. and they're meant to show how grateful you are that God is in control of your life. And it's meant to pique their curiosity. Because everybody wants that life. If you show them how good God has been to you and what your life is like with God, the non-believer wants that. It's inbred in them. So, verse 11, it says, "Sir," the woman said, "you have nothing to draw with, and the well is deep. Where do you get this living water?" I think she kind of said it cynically. She says, "Are you greater than our father Jacob?" Isn't that a funny line? She's speaking to God himself in human flesh. Are you greater than Jacob? She's like saying, who do you think you are? Jesus answers her and says, "Whoever drinks of this water will thirst again." When I read that, I thought you could write that over every endeavor in your life. Every degree you're striving to get, every accolade you're trying to get, every relationship you're in, everything that you strive for in your life where God is not involved, drink of this and you will thirst again. It will not satisfy you. But our Lord doesn't stop there. Our Lord gives her a solution. He says, "But whoever drinks of this water I will give them will never thirst. Indeed, the water I give them will become in them spring of water welling up for eternal life." And the woman said to him, "Sir, give me this water so that I don't get thirsty and have to keep coming back to this well." Jesus knew that this woman had a deep longing for something better. Ecclesiastes 3:11 says, "God has set eternity in the human heart. He has put a desire and a drive for something more in our heart." Some people call it a God-shaped hole. You've heard that, right? You have a God-shaped hole in your soul. Well, Romans 8 describes this God-shaped hole. Romans 8:20, I think it's 20, says, "For the creation," that's us, "was subjected to futility," that's emptiness, meaningless. "Not willingly," not because we wanted it, "but because of him who subjected it in hope." In other words, in Gus's version, God made a hole in your soul, and he did it on purpose so that you will fill it with him. And nothing else in your life will satisfy that hole, that craving. And that's a craving that everyone has. What's even more important is the non-believer has that craving, and they don't realize what it is. So I'm going to give you 4 quick tips on how to share your faith to the non-believing world. First tip, live. Just live a Christian life. Live your life in such a way that will make the non-believing public hungry and thirsty for what you have. Nobody likes a cranky Christian. Nobody. Jesus said, live so that you may see God's good deeds and glorify your Father in heaven. Number 2, look. Look for opportunities. You might be in a store, in a grocery line. You might be at one of your kids' games. You might be at work and just having a normal conversation. You don't have to force anything. You don't have to beat them over the head with a Bible. Just set the hook and watch what happens. Just set the hook and watch what happens. Number 3, listen. This was a big important thing for me. You may not have all the answers, and that's okay. Listen. These are real people with real questions, with real problems. In fact, it's better if you don't have all the answers. Because one of the tricks is to get their phone number and tell them you'll look it up and find it out. Or better yet, invite them to church and say, we'll find out together. Come with me on Sunday and see. Let's get the answer. You have to listen for that craving, and then it's your opportunity to fill that God-shaped hole. So live, look, listen, and here's the 4th, leave. Leave. Leave it to God. You might be surprised what God can do without you. Our job is to plant the seed. God will water it. God will cultivate. God will cause it to grow. God will do it. We're called to be witnesses, to share the message of the gospel wherever we go. It's their lifeboat. We're going to sing our closing song. And I don't know, there may be someone here that has never given their life to Christ. Or maybe someone here that's personally walked away from Christ and given up. I would encourage you this morning to change that. This altar is here if you'd like to come forward. If you need to do it right where you're at, just bow your head and pray. Ask God to come into your heart, to lead your life. But I would invite you this morning to go ahead and lift your voices as we sing this closing song and listen to the words, because we are called to be disciples. Jesus said, go into the world and spread the good news. Lift your voices this morning.
There are people hurting in the world out there. They need you, they need me, they need Christ. There are children crying and no one to care. They need you, they need willing just to get his shot. And the girl that's pregnant and pretends she's not. They need you, they need me, they need Christ. There are runaways who want a place to go. They need you, they need me, they need Christ. There are alcoholics who don't seem to know. They need you, they need me, they need Christ. There are godless people who have lost their way, and they need God's love, but they're afraid to say. If we close our eyes, perhaps they'll go away. Without you, without me, without Christ. They need you, they need me, they need Christ.
Isaiah chapter 6 says, "Then I heard the voice of the Lord saying, Whom shall I send, and who will go for us? And I said, Here am I, Lord. Send me. And he said, Go and tell his people." Father, as we close this morning, that's our prayer. We are saying to you, send us. Send me, Lord, because we want to grow. We need to grow. Because it's a part of who we are. It's the craving that we have. And it's who you've called us to be, to tell people about you and to lead them back to you. Father, as we leave this place, it is our prayer that you will watch over us, that you will guide us, direct us, give us the opportunity to shine your light to the world. Let us be your messenger until we can meet back here again to worship you. We ask these things in Jesus' name, and all God's people said, Amen.